Hello, little dreamers, and welcome back to Moral Stories by ANAF, where magical tales come alive and fill your day with wonder, kindness, and smiles. Today, we bring you episode 3 of our Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs series. In this episode, something very special happens, something so rare that even the birds in the forest might stop singing to take a closer look. Because today, we explore the impossible. Will Grumpy smile? Yes, the dwarf who never smiles. The dwarf who frowns at sunshine. The dwarf who growls at butterflies. May finally show a tiny little smile. But how? Why? And who can make it happen? Well, join Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs as they go through funny moments, silly tricks, gentle lessons, and heartwarming surprises, all in the hope of bringing a small spark of joy to the grumpiest dwarf in the forest. So sit back, get cozy, open your heart, and let's begin today's magical adventure. Snow White Episode 3, Grumpy Learns to Smile. It was a bright morning in the dwarf's cottage. Snow White made warm berry pancakes, and the sweet smell filled the whole house. All the dwarfs cheered happily as they sat at the table, except Grumpy, who crossed his arms and frowned at his plate. Snow White asked gently, "Are you okay, Grumpy?" He muttered, "Nothing to smile about." The dwarfs looked at each other, and a new mission began. The dwarfs gathered outside and decided to make Grumpy smile. Dopey tried first. He wore boots that were way too big and walked in silly circles until he slipped into a pile of soft hay. Everyone laughed, but not Grumpy. "HMPH, not funny," he said, sharpening his pickaxe. The dwarfs sighed. This was going to be harder than they thought. Next came Sleepy. He walked up to Grumpy and tried to tell a joke. "I know a funny joke." But before he could finish, he fell asleep standing. The dwarfs rushed to catch him. Grumpy didn't smile. "I've seen funnier rocks," he said. The dwarfs groaned in defeat. Snow White joined Grumpy outside and sat beside him quietly. She didn't try any tricks. She just spoke softly. "Grumpy, once there was a mountain that never smiled. But one day, the sun warmed it so gently that happiness grew right in its heart." Grumpy looked away, but a tiny, tiny curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. Snow White saw it, but didn't say a word. From the window, the dwarfs peeked out and gasped loudly. "He smiled," they whispered. Grumpy quickly turned around. "No, I did." Snow White laughed kindly. "It's okay, Grumpy. Even a small smile is special." Grumpy blushed, looking away, but the little smile didn't disappear. The dwarfs finally cheered. Their grumpiest friend had smiled at last. Thank you for joining us in this magical episode of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Today we learned something very important, something even more precious than gems from the dwarf's mine. A smile doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it doesn't have to show up on the face. Sometimes, the most beautiful smiles are the ones that glow quietly in the heart. Just like Grumpy, everyone shows happiness differently. Everyone feels emotions in their own special way. And kindness, not pressure, opens the door to real joy. So remember, be gentle with others. Be patient with yourself. And never stop spreading kindness. If you enjoyed today's adventure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Moral Stories by ANAF for more magical episodes of Snow White and many other fairy tales. Until next time, keep smiling. Even a little smile can make a big difference. Goodbye, little dreamers. See you in the next episode.